All right, so now we are going to talk about the scorecard. Now, we use this scorecard in our business to manage the entire business, okay? You're going to be able to get a copy of this, which is going to be great, and all the formulas are all set and stuff like that, and they're for you. But the bottom line is this scorecard, right, is your health of your business. And tracking numbers is incredibly important because you know exactly what's going on. Now, I'll give you an example. I heard this story, and I think it was part of Traction too. I heard the story where they talked about Tupperware, and Tupperware would hold a weekly meeting with their senior managers or senior executives. And each one of the executives, their role was to report on their specific region on their Tupperware sales. And they knew, right, down to the lid that was sold, the type of Tupperware that was sold, how many was sold, and who sold it. Now, think about Tupperware. Tupperware, man, they have all these in-house parties and this, that, and the other. Imagine the reporting that they had to do to come back, and, where 10 or 15 guys can sit around a table, and they can report on all their numbers weekly of exactly what an organization is going to do. It's amazing. You can find out the health of your company, and you can track trends. Now, you've all heard the statement, whatever you track, right, grows, right? Wherever you focus on grows. So what this does allows you to focus on the right things, okay? So these are just some random goals here, right, inside here, and that you can use or modify or whatever. So Brandon here is obviously the not COO. He is the he's dispositions and transaction coordination. So so we got Brandon here, and we've got pipeline revenue. So the total 30-day pipeline revenue, weekly revenue, total revenue for the week, future weekly revenue. So this is the weekly. So when we report on January 4th, in this example, or February 8th, whatever the date is, what you're doing is you're reporting the revenue from the previous week. So all the revenue that happened that previous week. So all the revenue that happened. So that was your previous week's revenue. Future revenue is what is going to close this week, in that current week. So this gives you of what happened and what's going to happen. That's the best way to explain it. JV pipeline revenue, same thing. JV weekly revenue, what we did, how much revenue we actually brought in, and how much revenue we're going to bring in. So this is great because if you're managing cash flow in your business, now here's the deal: if you're a solopreneur, and you're just you, yourself, and you, well, guess what? Your name is going to go on all of these, and you're going to report this and go through and spend an hour every single Monday, right, and go through and update your numbers. Now, who updates these numbers? I don't update these numbers, right? Brandon updates his numbers. Jerry Beth updates her numbers. We got Dana Marie updates her numbers. Lily updates her numbers. Raphael updates his numbers. They all update their own numbers, and they come to the Monday morning meeting with all their numbers populated, so we can just go through them. Okay. So pipeline revenue. Okay. So here we go. Is closings. This is the number of closings and the future closings. Jerry Beth, our mailers. How many did we mail for the week, right? And then we've got Jerry Beth inside sales right here. So contacts, appointments made, and contracts, emails accepted, right? And then Dana Marie, marketing leads. So this is our lead count. How many came in from Google? How many from 1-800-FAIR-OFFER? How many from Fast Home Offer? How many from Facebook? How many from direct mail? This will give us a complete lead count of how many leads we actually got in for the week and how many got in last week. So it's cool because you can actually see a trend of exactly what's happening. Now, once we modified our Google AdWords campaign, we were getting about anywhere from 20 to 22 a week, right, from Google AdWords. Well, that jumped as we modified the Google AdWords. We added negative keywords. We increased our conversions. We did some of the cool things we're talking about, and we jumped to about 40 leads a week. So it's pretty killer. Contacts spoken to. So here's the deal. So you understand how the scorecard works, is that every person is assigned a specific number. And that number is their baseline number and how they get incentivized on that baseline number. So contacts spoken to is Dana Marie's number, and her goal is that she's got to talk to at least 85 people a week. Appointments made, right? 20. Missed call rate. So what we do is we track what's called the missed call rate. So what we do is we look at our phone system and we go through and we can determine how many calls were answered, because we have all of our calls answered live from 9 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night. And what I want to know is how many of those calls were missed and went to voicemail. Now, we started out when we started tracking this at about 30 to 40%, but my goal is to get it under 20%. Now it's going to happen. We have them roll over from person to a person, but sometimes everybody's on the phone and it has to go to a voicemail. And if it goes to a voicemail, then obviously we want to retrieve it as fast as possible. But the goal is obviously to get that missed call rate way down. Now we could have them go all the way through and send them to an answering service. We don't do that right now because we want to have our team be able to answer those. But right now we're working to get our missed call rate under 20%. So. This is a good metric to track. Contracts accepted, right? That's if she's mailed out contracts on outlying area properties. This is Lily. She's our VA. She works from 4 to 8 Monday through Friday and 10 to 7 on Saturdays. And those are her numbers. She's part-time. And then Raphael is our outside sales guy. So he's going to report on the number of appointments he went on. Number of appointments that canceled or no-showed. That's going to happen. There's going to be cancellation and no-shows, so we have to account for that. How many offers were made, right? How many contracts they got, and his baseline is how much revenue he pulled in for the week, right? Self-generated leads are leads, which we'll talk about in this training, is the leads that they get when they show up to the property 15 minutes early and they're driving the neighborhood and they talk to they get the vacant properties, the for sale by owner properties, the for rent properties as they're driving around the neighborhoods prior to an appointment. Okay, so they got closing ratio, his closing ratio in listings because he's a realtor, how many listings he gets. Now David, we've got appointments, same exact thing right here. Brandon, this is for JV deals, number of JV deals he needs to get a week, and JV revenue. And then Falcon, he manages our mobile signs that we have and how many mobile signs he's going to put on. So now down here, it takes all these numbers and it breaks it into a cost per lead, leads per contract, and then this is the contract value, average contract value of each contract, and contract length of what the closing time frame typically for a contract to close. Now, these are what are called your key performance indicators overall in your entire business, right? Having a your cost per lead down, your contracts per lead, leads per contract. So basically what this does, it takes all the leads that we got in for the week, and then all the contracts, and it gives us a contract of the how many contracts per leads that we get. So then you know when you're projecting your overall numbers, when you're projecting your business, those are the key numbers to project and create consistency. So what happens is this will go through an entire quarter, right? And then all the numbers will break down, and they'll break down over here to where you have your quarterly numbers, and then we have April, June, we have all the quarterly numbers right here, and then the totals. And then we have totals of your entire year. You have the measurable, the goal, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, year-to-date totals and goals right here. So then you break it all down. You'll know exactly at the end of the year exactly what your numbers are, who's doing what, if you hit your targets. Now, the cool thing about this is after your first quarter, you go through and you have what's called a quarterly meeting. And in your quarterly meeting, you can say, holy cow, man, we blew it on this. We smoked it on this. You know, and then how can we get better for each step and be able to manage your team effectively with real baseline data that everyone's doing, and then be able to make tweaks on a quarter by quarter basis. So when you have at the end of the year, your totals can be right on the money. So that's the scorecard. And like I said, you guys have a copy of this as well in the membership area, which will be killer.